my name is Siana and I'm with Devex for more than 3 years. Apart from being project manager, I'm also mother of a child, small, gorgeous, devilish little girl, and a dog, and 4 cats. Yes, 4, you heard correctly. And my closest friends are aware of my biggest obsession, which is Friends sitcom and everything related to Japan. As you can see, this picture is actually from there. And I actually have a tattoo for Friends sitcom, so that big of a fan. Why we gathered today here? In my career so far, I always have the same problem to explain what actually we are doing, what is this creature project manager, why everything is for yesterday, why we give you pressure, and so far and so far. My idea is to try to put some light on that role. By this, I will try to help people to answer some of the questions, why we need project manager, why they're so annoying, why they keep asking questions that they don't know and don't understand, and actually everything that you can imagine related to that topic. So my idea is to help you understand the role better, and by that to improve your daily communication with your project managers, or if you are a project manager, to improve your communication with every other team who wonders what you're doing there. And of course, there's a lot of companies, unfortunately, that they don't have a project management role as a position at all. And they put these responsibilities to some of the people in the company. It doesn't matter if it's an architect or a developer or someone else or BA. In that case, I prepare some tips how you can handle situations, what is very important to know in order to move forward without PM. Before moving and stepping in the basics and the project management role, let me ask you a few questions, and by raising hands to understand a little bit more about the audience. So how many of you right now is working as project managers actively or something that is related? Okay, that's good. How many of you are working with project managers in any way in their life? Okay, lots of people. And how many of you actually don't have an idea what project manager is doing and are not working with PMs in their life, etc.? Okay, 1%. For the last 2 groups, probably this will be more interesting. For the first one, PMs here, bear with me. I know that you probably already know everything that you're gonna hear. So let's start with the basics for the project management role. If you open any book, any guide, any course, any major, anything that is like to learn for project managers, you have same basics covered. It doesn't matter if it's IT, fintech, or market research, or constructive workers. You have some basic rules that covers PM role. And that's initiating, planning, executing, monitoring, closing, and if you got these 5, that means you checkbox marked, you are working as a project manager or with project manager. Of course, apart from those, there's some things covered, and that's to work with every party involved from the beginning, so every stakeholder from the beginning to help him understand the processes, the communication, the end goal, everything. Also, you are part of the people who set the scope and define the final deliverables, the objective, and seeing the big picture. So you're involved from the beginning. And most important thing for the project manager, which is something he's doing probably on daily and minute basis, is to work with the teams, be main point of contact for everyone, customer, every stakeholder, every internal team member, set up the processes and help following them, and in case of need, improving them. some of the hidden responsibilities of the project manager. So even though probably most of you here won't believe me, the goal of the project manager is not to make your life miserable. Our goal is not for you to suffer. Our goal is not to please the customer all the time. I know that sounds crazy. I see the look at some of the people's eyes that I work with. It's not the personal goal to suffer. Actually, we are advocate for the team. PMs need to help to communicate between the customer and the team, and they shield and protect the team from outside influences, from everything that is against the team, or even put the blame or try to put a workload. This is part of the PM's role to protect their team. Of course, sometimes from chit-chat talks before the meeting, or like some spare time, or just asking how are you doing and do you need some help with something. It's PM's role to try to boost the morale and to create the energy in the team, and that's like going with the job description, even though it's not written down. And of course, I already mentioned main point of contact for everything. So less meetings for development team, more meetings for the project manager. Like, believe me, I'm telling you, there's like from 5 days, 4 of them, I have like 6 hours every day meetings. Like fully occupied, finding just a place to stand up from the chair. So this is also as a part of the description. Everyone's pinging you for something, everyone is looking something for you, everyone is just asking you questions, and you have to answer them, or find someone who can answer them. Now, how we can actually bridge that gap and to help this communication flow to be better? How we can improve our daily lives? And please keep in mind that all the advices here that you see are actually based on expertise as a project manager, what I have as observations. I would be very happy to hear your opinion after that from the development perspective, development side, technical side or point of view. But in my opinion, if we do some of those things, for sure, this will help to improve our work, and this will definitely help to improve our daily life and bridge that gap in understanding. Very important note, make sure everyone is aligned what is happening. So you have to give the business needs and what is requested properly to transfer these requirements and these requests to the team you're working with. You have to make sure it's properly communicated. Also, if you help the team and both customer and your internal team, you're gonna set these clear, measurable deliverables, which brings value to the table from everyone. Very important note is you have to follow if everything is on time and in the proper budget that is communicated. And if you see that it's not, to again communicate this. As a result, this is helping the team, your team, to trust you. They know that they are bringing value on the table. They know that they can work calmly because they have the defined goal towards the end. So, yeah. If you help them organizing their work, sometimes people just want to get tasks, sometimes people just want to be told what to do, or just to say someone what is good to be done, so you should be the person there. If you help them to break pieces in like big pieces in smaller pieces, you organize their boards, you follow the process and gather the feedback to improve them. Also, you need to make sure proper resources are allocated everywhere when it's needed. So you see the big picture. You know what is the requested from the customer delivery. You know what is the milestone. So you are the person who knows the best who needs to be where. So you need to take the decisions to make the right decision to relocate people if needed. Unfortunately, this is not always a pleasant task. That means you may need to let someone go or move them to another team, and this is not always the pleasant part of the work, but it's also needed. And be involved in the development work. So there's a meetings with the team, join them, make sure you update them, be part of the brainstorming ideas, troubleshooting, discuss on a team level their work, if they need something from you, if they need some help to remove a roadblock along the way. You should be there. The more you're engaged in their work to understand it, the better will be, and you have some value on the table. And team would, again, the main goal is for team to trust you and to cultivate work spirit, and they can calmly go and do their deliverables. I don't think I need to say more, but it's basically to, as I said, organize the right process. So it doesn't matter if you're going to work agile or you're going to work on waterfall approach or some mixture between two of them. In the end, you're the one who helped the team to set up the process and to follow it. Make sure that, as I said, everything's delivered across the requested timeline and the budget, and as a result, you have successful project launch or milestone that you passed or whatever like delivery you have to do. Prioritization is the most important thing maybe on the table. That way, if you work in a complex project, because let's be fair here, some projects, some programs, they can be really stressful. They can change priorities not on the minutes, but on seconds, and literally people can get confused what they are working on. So you're the person who needs to clarify the priority, who needs to clarify who is doing what and when, and also to analyze the potential risks. And when you do that analyzations, to prepare some contingency plan if needed, and to act on it. That way, team feels safe that everything they do is according to what is requested. Everyone respects their time. Nobody wants to do work that is pointless, that towards end of the day, it's like they did nothing. So when people feel that they do something which is respected, which is bringing value, they feel okay. They know that they are safe. Now, I know most of you maybe hate that part, and I've been on the other side, that we need to fill some body report or you need to fill some timesheet, and people come and say, have you updated the status ticket? Have you updated your request? Have you reviewed your pull request? Are you sure this is the right status in Jira? Have you put your time on whatever time tracking system that the company is using? This is for a purpose. This is because towards the end of the day, project manager needs to come, take that, and update and report to someone above. And in order to not be bothered from someone on the top asking you the same stupid questions, then PMs take this like responsibility and just make sure to remind you, guys, it's end of the month, you have to do it. And this is how it is. It's part of the responsibilities. As a result, we are updating most often the client. I've been working for like a decade already as a project manager, and I've been on a project where literally we report timesheets. Literally, customer is paying for someone's hour, and you take these hours and report them to the customer. And end of the month or end of the week, depends what you agree with the customer, you go and start bugging the team. Guys, please, we have to send this report. I see you haven't filled your sheet, etc. It's not very pleasant, but this is why we're doing it. Nonetheless, it's very important to support your team. You have not only here, like you see organized retrospectives, it's not only retrospective, you have to organize all the meetings that you think is valuable and you think it helps the team. You need to gather feedback from your team and to discuss with them the problems, to get what is good, what can be improved, and in that way you collect the information which is useful for future projects and milestones and everything. The project manager is also the person who is motivating the team when needed and help to build the team spirit. And of course, part of the reason that we have this still human touch that we can feel, even though we mainly work in international companies, in most of the meetings are on Zoom, Teams, or some other tool. As a result, we have cooperation and non-toxic environment. And last but not least, you have to care for your team. You don't throw them under the bus. You protect them. Even if there's a bad thing that happened or some negative feedback that you want to share, there is always a place and way how you can give this information to the respective team members. It's not needed to do it in front of everyone or go and directly say to the customer. You can try first to see why this is happening. You should be able to manage client expectations. You have to make sure that if something cannot be done, customer needs to know that this cannot be done. Technically, it's not possible. It needs more time, it requested more time, more resources. This is something you should communicate as a PM if you want your team to trust you. That's actually what is in the end, in the goal of the understanding between the two roles, because you are not the person who is doing the actual job. You're not the coder. You're not the one who types and checks what is done before and after. You are basically the middleman who either will help the team and actually bring value on the table, or it's gonna be against the team, and sooner or later this will not come up okay. Before going about some tips, and I have a little story here to tell. So all these tips that you're gonna see, what you can do if you end up being project manager in your company, I've learned on a very hard way, and this is actually the story I'm gonna tell you. I was working in market research. I was not in IT yet. It was my beginning as a project manager, and I was a newbie, junior PM, junior data processor, and a senior who was we can go back to mentoring topic of my colleague, and it will be very, very relevant, of not the perfect mentor in that case. So what happened? We were working with data, collected data from surveys and from everything, transform that data in the form of readable form for the customer, reports, tables, etc. And we receive requirements. I was working as a data processor before being project manager, and I didn't even open the requirements. I honestly admit, I just left them, and I trusted my team. Was oh good, what can go wrong? Oh. So I give them the requirements, and I go to them and ask them, guys, do you need something? Do you need a kickoff call? Do you need discussion with customer? Have you reviewed the requirements? All good? Yeah, sure, perfect. I'm going back to my desk. All good. The next day, I'm going and doing the same. Are you guys fine? Everything all right? Do you need something? Do you need a call? No, we're good. We are already working on this. Go back to my desk. I trust them. We had the whole time in the world. We had two deliverers, interim delivery and final delivery, and we had insane amount of time. Perfect customer. He was not he was just here, early project requirements, do it, whole time on the world. I start to notice that the guy who was supposed to work on that body project actually spends quite some time on the football table and on the ping pong table and watching football on the TV. And I start to, guys, are you sure? Are you ready? All good? Yes, no worries. Interim delivery comes. The day before that, the guy comes to me and say, you know what, I'm not ready. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? And he's like, I'm not ready. I'm like, how is that possible you're not ready? I ask him, well, something comes up when I was working, most of the things are done. I'm like, okay, I will speak with customer. And I asked customer, we need 1-2 days, so are you okay? And they said, yes, sure, go ahead. I'm like, okay, this is the perfect customer. And I'm telling the guys, okay, guys, you can continue, we have 2 days. Then we send the body tables completely wrong, completely full with bullshit, wrong from top to the end. Nothing, one thing was not clear. I then open the requirements and I see that they're awful. Nothing is clear inside. I am reading them and I don't understand a thing. In that moment, I realized that this definitely is not it's not going to be a good situation. Then I go to them, talk with them. We had very tight timeline between interim and final deliveries. We delivered the final tables also wrong, also with mistakes, and we finally have this body call with the customer, and we go to that call, and we explain that it's not clear, the requirements are not clear, and customer comes and say, okay, we see our mistake, why didn't you ask us? Why didn't you ask us questions? And it's like, imagine 3 weeks, and nobody asked a body question. It turns out one of the guys actually used, I think we used Cisco at the time as a communication WebEx. So he actually chat directly with the project manager from the customer side without telling anyone about this. And he didn't keep his chronology on, so we didn't have any proof for that. And it was their word against our words, and it was awful. After many hours overtime work, and we actually slept 2 days in the office, Friday and Saturday, I think we actually slept in the office. We've managed to deliver something which I'm pretty sure was correct. Still not completely sure, however, but I think it was close to what we had to give them. And imagine 20-something people, like typing and writing apology, no essay, but like essay, what goes wrong and how we can improve it to not happen again. Like some teenagers. We all wrote essays, what goes wrong and to not happen again. So some of those things that you see here, I took from this escalation. I'm so happy this is the only one I have actually so far, but I think I will remember it till end of my life. It was awful. We went to business trip to clear things. Awful situation. So with that, we have to make sure that we know 3 things. We have to have our main things in like constraints in case. So scope, budget, timeline. You have to know what is your scope, what you're going to deliver, review this, speak with the customer, check the requirements, be aware what is supposed to give in the end as a delivery. What is the money that are requested to be within that delivery. If you see something on top, properly communicated. And maybe one of the most important things, the timelines. You have to know the schedule. If you see it's risky, communicate it's risky. Always you can improve some situations, so involve, as I've mentioned, you have to involve your team from the beginning. Don't ask them if everything is clear. Just set the body call. You have the call, you clear, you will go review the requirements together, and you make sure that everyone is aligned and they know what is expected from them. If you don't have a project manager and you have to work at that role, you can always distribute this within the team. If you have someone who is not worried and not feel like pressure to answer some questions, put him as a communication channel. If someone likes to do some reports and improve processes, then give him that responsibility. It's not supposed for you to be working as a project manager as well if there's no role. If you want to do that, then go to your bosses and tell them that this is the role you want, and otherwise you go and search it someone else. If you have to work and you end up in this situation, you need to understand the processes, maybe not the development process, but in general the process in the company that will help you to be part of the situations when needed. If you're new in the company, like this is something very often, you end up in positions to don't know the domain. So ask for materials, open and read what is typical for that, what is the product, specifics. This will help you in meetings, in calls, in whatever, like evaluations and so on, to be aware. I don't think I have to mention this, but protect your team, advocate for them. I will keep saying this over and over and over. Very important. I know not every PM is doing this. I've been in position as a data processor to be thrown under the bus, not a very pleasant feeling. Also being in very unpleasant position as a project manager between the team and the customer. Also, sometimes it's very hard to make the right choice, but even if it's hard, you have to try to be fair. I think this is pretty logical, but you have to make sure you are aligned in the tools and services that you're using. This will help you to follow progress, track progress, and everyone will looking towards the same way of reporting and whatever is needed. You have to make sure to give clear feedback. So to teammates, to managers, to every stakeholder, to customer. Not everything can be said. Let's be fair. It's a position where sometimes you need to be a little political and you have to give the feedback in more easy and not so clear way. However, when it's possible, especially internally with your team, you have to be honest and transparent. That will help them to trust you, that will help them build the relationship and to fight against whatever roadblock is on your way. The most important thing, usually if you don't have a project manager, you don't have a definition of done, and you don't have acceptance criteria, which is pre-discussed, pre-organized, and with the customer. If you don't have it, you risk it to have this overwork, you have this change request or additional request coming as a part of your scope, which is not the case. Customer will always try to give you more. So for 10 years, I've never ever met a customer who came and say, oh, we know that we didn't discuss about this and we haven't agreed and it's a change request, so take your time, let us know when it can be delivered. No, they usually try to swipe it between the rest of the requirements as a defect, as some kind of like bug, as, oh, but we talk about this, you didn't put it in the requirements. And if you manage to fight it, and if you manage to say, you know what, no, this is a new thing, we have to evaluate, and the original problem or feature is fixed, delivered, and whatever, you accept this, close it, and we talk about the new one later. So it's very important to have this wrap up, this acceptance criteria, definition of done, whatever you want to call it. As a last word, I can tell you to have fun on your job. It doesn't matter if it's a project manager, if you decide to try project management, or if it's a development or any other technical position. As a person who really, really loves her job, I love it. I am telling you, I am so happy that I get lucky to do that. I want in 10 years again to tell somebody how much I love my job. So enjoy it. If you don't find it, and I'm not talking making jokes or just have fun while doing it. Find that purpose, that you bring value to the table, that you feel satisfied, and it's worth doing it. Otherwise, you risk to become one of these people who are like, oh, I hate my job, oh, I don't want to work anymore, to have burnout, it's stressful. Every job we are doing in any area can be very stressful, and everyone knows their pain, but you can go past with it if you like it. Thank you. If you want, you can follow the company, and if you want, you can follow me with this QR code in LinkedIn.